Content is king, especially when it comes to real estate. But not all content that you post for your digital marketing is created equal. You see, there's this huge distinction between good content and bad content. People can typically tell when you're creating value versus just posting when to post. And if you haven't tested this out, I really challenge you to give it a try and really see the results. You see, if you create a thoughtful piece of content and share it on your Facebook or your LinkedIn or your Twitter or your Instagram, you're more than likely to get engagement versus just throwing up some generic picture of a market report or maybe a home you just listed or just sold. But let me let you in on a very tiny little secret. If you really want to move the needle and really create more engagement in your posts, then tell a story. What is up, guys? Emmanuel here, and in this video I want to break down a very simple framework that you can really utilize to tell better stories when you're creating content for your social media. So let's go. What is up, guys? Now, before I get into the good stuff, you know the deal. Please make sure you join our free Facebook community, leaving the link in the description below. We talk all things brand, strategy, and digital marketing and websites for realtors. So I highly recommend you join, hop in, join the conversation, and I hope to see you there. So today I want to talk a little bit more about telling stories. You see, this is a lost art, and if it's used correctly, you can really move the needle in terms of building your brand and creating more engagement, which eventually turn into more prospects and more leads, and of course, more clients. You see, it's one thing to provide value through the use of maybe data and charts and numbers, but most people aren't really that analytical. Typically, when you show the average person a bunch of data and numbers, they're more likely inclined to be turned off or zone out and really not care too much about what you're creating or what you're posting or really what you're talking about. However, if you can synthesize a really great story and turn that into some compelling pieces of content, you'll find that you'll be able to generate a lot more conversations online. So best-selling author Donald Miller, who wrote the book StoryBrand, really doubles down on the idea of telling stories because nothing brings out clarity to our communication than actually telling a story or liking a story. Telling a great story is really the key to being understood. And quoting Donald Miller, he actually says that a story is the most powerful tool you can use to really connect with another human being. Now, if this is in fact true, then why aren't we telling more stories on social media accounts to really try to resonate with more people? Now, my goal for today's video is to really give you a basic framework to telling a great story that you can start utilizing when you're creating your content for social media platforms. But before I get into it, you guys know the deal. Please make sure you click the like button, the subscribe button, and the bell icon so we can appease the YouTube gods, aka the algorithm, and we can continue to create great content just like this video. So thank you so much in advance. All right, so the framework for telling a great story is really comprised of four main parts. Part one is all about starting with the problem that you solve. Now, here's a quick example. Let's say you're a realtor and you want to represent a buyer on a deal, but that buyer's already working with another agent. Now, one of the problems that you potentially can solve is really how to break up with that other agent, which is probably underperforming. All right, now let's move into part two, which is all about agitating the problem. Now, the process of telling a really great and compelling story really means that you gotta dig pretty deep and truly figure out what are the fears and the frustrations or the failure of no action for the hero of the story. In the example I just used about your client that's trying to break up with another realtor, let's play the story out and drill down into what happens if they don't change what they're doing and continue to keep going down this path of working with a bad realtor. Really start synthesizing the emotions of the lost value or frustrations that this client potentially will have if they continue to do the same thing. All right, now part three is all about positioning yourself as the resolution. Think of it this way. Every story has a hero and a guide, and your job in your story is to position yourself not as the hero, but as the guide. Now, in my example, to really carry on with this story, let's say you're able to provide a solution to your client's problem by giving them guidance on how to really and truly break up with a bad realtor. And then of course, we move to the last part, part 4, which is all about describing the happy ending. It's all about describing what your client wants and the feeling of resolution despite that problem or frustration or pain they alluded to in the very beginning of the story. Now, to really wrap up my quick story example, it could be something as simple as, hey, I helped my client buy a home or get into a home in 7 days or less, while this other realtor was really dilly-dallying and wasn't able to get them into a home after 30 days or 60 days. And that, my friends, is it. A very simple 4-part framework that you can really use for anything. If you're putting together maybe an Instagram carousel, or maybe a video, or maybe you're putting together an Instagram story, or maybe a TikTok, if you copy this very simple framework when creating that content, you'll see that you can resonate with a lot more people. Now, to quickly recap, part 1 is all about starting with a problem that you solve. Part 2 is all about agitating the problem. Part 3 is all about positioning yourself as the resolution. And of course, part 4 is all about describing the happy ending. And this, my friends, is my happy ending. So I appreciate you guys for sticking around to the end of the video, and I hope you found some true value out of this. But if you are feeling stuck or you really need some help in terms of creating content or really a digital marketing strategy, then I highly recommend you click the link below, schedule a strategy session with either myself or someone on my team, because storytelling, digital marketing strategy, branding, hey, it's stuff that we're kind of good at, so we gotcha. Thank you so much again for watching. Have a wonderful rest of your day, and I will see you on the next video.